Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, I just wanted to do a quick story on somebody who got off a cruise ship. This is a worker and they were supposed to follow the quarantine, act basically. They're supposed to quarantine themselves for 14 days before going out into the general public, and one person didn't, and now they're paying the price. So I'm not going to bring any names. I'm not trying to shun somebody or embarrass anybody. I just want to put this out as a little hint of how things and places are taking protocols and their laws so seriously. And if you decide that I'm not going to do that, well, you may fall into this sort of category. So let's find out what exactly happened. Gentleman worked on a cruise ship. He's 29 years old. So he's not a young, 18-year-old working on a cruise ship, didn't know any better. This is a 29-year-old gentleman, got off the cruise ship. The doctor order for that area where he's getting off told him that you have to quarantine for 14 days, and they have designated areas, designated hotels that they've already set up and everything's paid for, and you go there and you wait your 14 days and you get out. Sounds pretty simple, right? So this person was supposed to show up at this one place. He showed up at the place and said, but I'm going to go to the other place instead because it's more convenient when I get out, etc., etc. And they said, okay. Trouble is, he never went and checked in to the other location. Instead, he went home to his mother and his family and stayed there. Now, eventually they found out that he didn't check in there because they check these things. They call and say, okay, how long does this person have left in the place? And then they said, he never showed up. So the next place that showed up was at his parents' place, his house, where they arrested him. And then now he's shown up in court. Now, the fines for breaking the quarantine in this area is $2,000 a day, because every day that you break that quarantine restriction counts as a new offense. And so he was supposed to quarantine for 14 days, which means his fine could be up to $28,000. Not only that, every day you do that, you could get up to 2 months in jail. So he could have been, again, gone for 28 months in prison time. So the gentleman showed up and the judge was weighing it back and forth, and the gentleman kind of showed remorse of what he did. Luckily, he didn't have the virus and he didn't spread it to his elderly parents and his household, but the judge had to set a precedent, saying that we cannot have people risking other people's lives. This is reckless endangerment of your household, especially since his parents were elderly, older. So he decided, he took everything into account, and seeing as how he could have sent this gentleman for 28 days and $28,000, they fined him $6,000 that had to be paid around March of next year. Has to be paid by then. And he took into consideration that the gentleman showed remorse, his job situation being from a cruise line and no one's cruising, but he still had to fine him. A particular, $6,000 is nothing to sneeze at, especially if you happen to be out of work now. So that is what happened. Now, what happens if he doesn't pay that $6,000 by then? Well, this comes with a 4-month term in prison if he fails to be able to pay that fine. And this is not the first one that's happened to. Another woman left the facility she was in early then her quarantine wasn't over, and she also has been fined $1,000 and could have also faced jail time. And if she doesn't pay her fine in time, I think her fine is sometime in December, if she doesn't pay that money by then, she gets 2 months in prison. So a lot of places are really taking, this Quarantine Act very, very seriously, especially that they've gone to the trouble of setting up areas that people can go to. And they don't, they feel that's really reckless. Now, as you know, cruise lines starting up here in North America have to have arrangements at home ports. So in Miami and Fort Lauderdale, also in the cruise ports they're visiting and their destinations, they have to have set up a land facility, first of all, with the medical area that they can go and bring people if they're really sick and really need medical care, not just quarantine. And then they have hotel areas or apartment areas that they can quarantine people off the ship going forward. So I just wanted to bring this up in case you're one of those lucky people who get on a cruise and you test positive or you have symptoms and they decide to isolate you. Don't leave. Don't leave until they tell you you can leave till that period is over, because before you know it, you could be facing huge fines and even prison time because of, how seriously a lot of places are taking that. And I don't have a problem with places taking this seriously, right? Because if you don't have consequences, then no one's going to listen to it. So it's just one of those situations. I'm glad that the household, nobody gets sick from that household, but it just goes to show you, you don't have to have the worst thing happen for you to get in trouble in a lot of places. And don't just think of North American laws and things, because if you're on a cruise and you end up someplace else, those laws will take effect. And if they have very strict fines and very strict rules and you break them there, you're going to pay the penalties for breaking them there. And that's what this gentleman did, although he was heading home. But you can also see that that will probably be the situation when we start cruising again. These laws and rules will be in effect. The cruise ports are only going to allow cruise ships into their port if they follow these very strict guidelines. And if anyone's caught breaking them, they're in for some huge fines and possibly even jail time. Is it really worth it then? Is it really worth it at that point? I don't think it is. I could not afford to do it. And I would never, ever want to get in trouble in a foreign country with the law. That's just one thing I don't want to do. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.